Welcome back to Geek Hard, friends. Andrew Young and Mr. Green here with our final guest of the evening. As I said, he is a longtime friend of Geek Hard's, a fellow podcaster and interviewer who, unlike us, who has a duo where we can take a breather for a second. He's got to do it all on his own. He's a lone gun. Some of his past guests include David Suzuki, Chris Jericho, and Mila Jovovich. Welcome to the program, Sean Sirianni of the Creative Imbalance.
Guys, I gotta say, I'm honored to be here. We go way back. I believe this is my first time on Geek Hard.
This is your first time on Geek Hard.
Mhm.
I've long meant to repay the favor of when we've been on your show back in 2018. So,
And I loved that episode. Not only did I get to know you guys a bit better, but you guys have like the funniest origin story of meeting each other. And there's almost like this hatred. And years later, look at this. You guys built like such this awesome thing together. You've been going around different expos, cons, like, and even interviewing huge celebrities yourself too. So it's super cool.
well, thank you. And you yourself also have quite the origin story of, you came to Toronto with just a camera and a dream, came
Mhm.
up with the idea of the Creative Imbalance, and then eventually figured out that that should be a podcast, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and it was interesting. Like again, like I knew I wanted to be around entertainment and all like my fandoms and stuff, and I didn't know how to do it. And at near the end of my college days, a friend of mine who was doing a music website needed somebody with a camera. And in my college course, I was allowed to take out cameras. I had no aspirations of being a videographer. But yeah, we went to a rap concert for Shad K. And then it just turned into this amazing experience where I got pulled up on stage. I was filming. He was freestyling and said the funniest line. He said something like, "He ain't no amateur. Make some noise for for the camera." And it was my literal first moment filming anything. And that moment made me realize just kind of doing media and videography, I can kind of break through the wall of almost the impossible of my fandom. And I feel like over 15 years later now, it's interesting to see a lot of things I've been huge fans of and artists become my peers as well. And I often don't think back. I feel like I'm a very forward thinker and like always like trying to see how I can make things better. And then every once in a while, like right now, talking to you guys, I'm like, oh my God, this journey's kind of crazy when I stop and breathe, you know?
Yeah, no, it's every time you get to talk to somebody, like we've experienced is when we talk to people, and like clearly you've done the same thing. It sounds like is that when you talk to people and you are able to get some of their some of their story out,
Mm.
and it's always interesting that they just exactly what you said. They'll say something like that to us too. Is like this is a wild ride. I can't imagine, whatever. Like it's just, when we talk about it too, like us doing what we've done here. Sometimes you're just like, oh shit,
Yeah.
okay, whether it is I talked to that person or I got to do that thing or and sometimes it's just like somebody walking up to you and just giving you like a head nod. Sometimes is all it takes just to feel like, wow, this
Mhm.
is really cool.
Yeah, it's such a cool feeling too. And I don't know if you guys feel the same way too. Sometimes when you're in the work mode of it, sometimes you don't notice these cool moments until after it happens. Like
Yeah.
you'll be thinking about it the next day and it's like, wow. And even I had a moment like that with you guys the first time I was doing videography with you guys. You took me to my very first fan expo and I was a fly on the wall recording some Geek Hard stuff with you and just having that moment with Bruce Campbell. And you guys left the room, and I was still packing up, and he said a couple things to me and another videographer, and it was so like just Ash from the Evil Dead talking to me. He
Yeah.
was just like, "Look at all this camera shit." Like he's like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "You guys should make a movie," and like,
Yeah.
and he was telling me how like just Evil Dead like started with nothing, and yeah, even though I've been busy and not inspired to make a movie, I feel like I need to make one short and at the end say dedicated to Bruce Campbell just because of that conversation.
Yeah. Don't worry, Sean. We'll talk. We've got some movie stuff on the horizon. So,
Fantastic. And we
we
have to
want
dedicate it to Bruce Campbell though. This is
we'll
part of the
dedicate
bit.
it to Bruce Campbell. It'll happen. Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. We got an email in from from Kelly T that says, "Hey geeks, love your show and we love Sean. Enjoy the weekend."
Oh, amazing. That's awesome. Thank you,
Yeah,
Kelly. Appreciate you.
definitely. Kelly, a longtime listener here and probably a longtime listener of yours as well, Sean.
Oh yeah, I really appreciate that. And I feel like it's interesting lately. I find doing podcasting, you're kind of isolated a lot in your room, but recently I've been going to like different cons and like
Hmm.
just at a table and like meeting people, and it's interesting just meeting somebody who like followed you on Instagram for like 5 years. It's like a trip. I'm like, oh, you guys are like real humans. I'm not just I always appreciated them, but I don't know. I just feel like it always makes my heart explode when I can meet somebody in person who's been like following for a while. I almost turn into the fan of them. Like I start wanting to know every, like I want pictures and
Yeah, yeah.
autographs and
And
everything.
that's 100% true. I've seen that live in the field. The way if you're a listener, Sean, to come up to you, he will make you his world for a good 5-10 minutes. It's pretty
Hmm.
impressive. But like, yeah, you've been getting out in the world. You've gone to a lot of things. Like, again, you were at the Canadian Game Awards just the other day. All this sort of stuff, but also, I run into you at different things, and I know that we were both at TIFF this past year. You were at the Pop Turnative event, and you talked to Cassandra Potenza from
Hmm.
Clown in a Cornfield, and you were able to talk to her about being a smoking hot woman.
Yes, actually, so just I knew it was going to be a quick interview, and I went on her IMDb. I watched Clown in the Cornfield, which I was stoked because at the beginning, her character seemed like it was going to be the dumb person who dies right away, and
Mhm.
she made it like second last person to get killed. I'm like, okay, this is awesome. We got material to talk about. But I went on her IMDb, and I'm just scrolling like through her stuff, and she was in one episode. I'm trying to think of the name of the show. It was
Sex
like
life.
Sex, yeah, it was like sex slash life, and it just said casted as smoking hot woman. And I forget how I framed this question or what, but it was basically I asked, I'm like in episode blah 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 of Sex Life, how do you stay so humble like after being casted as smoking hot woman? And it just turned into like this whole bit. And at the end of every episode, I always like whether it's like an actor or director to just kind of pass on some information because I notice a lot of creatives themselves follow me on Instagram and stuff like that. So I asked if she had any just like tips for an aspiring actor or actress, and she said her thing, and then like just as she's like finished closing up, and I just like made it go full circle and thought of it. I just pointed at the camera and I was like, "You can be a smoking hot woman too," and it was like it just seemed like just like a cherry on the Sunday of a great interview, and like it wasn't planned or whatever. And I don't know that all. I'm sure you guys know as well as like doing media. It feels like a lot of like just I relate it to like improv comedy. Like you're in the
Mm.
moment, you don't know where it's going. You can have some questions or point forms, some notes and
Yeah, an
everything.
outline, a plan, but
Mhm.
everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. So yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. And over the years, I've been punched in the face metaphorically doing these as well. So,
Exactly,
Yeah, I would
exactly.
I was just gonna say because like I know with us, like, and I'm sure you have to have had at least one or two stories like this where me and Andrew, because it's the two of us, we get to talk about it. Like you're just you, right? Like you don't have that person to talk to. Like so me and Andrew can commiserate sometimes when we've had an interview where it didn't quite go the way we had hoped.
oh yeah.
And I don't even mean that they were terrible or anything, but just sometimes you get them on the wrong day, or you're the last interview and they've done 40 of these in a row and now they're just tired and it
Or it
just
could go completely well and then something terrible happens. Because I know it happened to you, Sean. I remember years ago you got to talk to Daniel Stern, right?
Oh yeah. And that was at a time when I wasn't getting very big guests. So this was a moment for me. And like, yeah, for people not familiar with the name Daniel Stern, it's basically Marv from Home Alone.
Yeah.
Like if you're around my age, that's your childhood. And the funny thing is this is like right at the beginning of the pandemic. people were starting to record on Zoom, but like I decided to get just this phone app where I can record the phone call. And I even tested it the day before with my mom, getting ready for this moment. I got this call recorded with my mom. I do the Daniel Stern one. We were supposed to do 15 minutes, and I forget like I basically talked about the new movie, and his new movie was all about like it had a theme about being in the present moment. And like kind of my closer was like, "Oh yeah, talking about the present moment." And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't even talk to you about Home Alone. You see, we're practicing." And he's like, "Oh, you can talk to me about Home Alone." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "Don't you have like have to go or whatever?" And he's like, "No, I got time." And we just had like a conversation for another half hour of just two bros just chop and shop, and him like telling me all these interesting things of just being the character Marv, and like especially in the early 90s walking around and having legitimate like children just scared of him, like they're just like, oh, it's that guy. And then it's just like after the interview, I even remember when I closed it, I yelled yes. I was like, I'm like, I can't believe I captured this. And then I go to the phone app and it's not there, just the conversation with my mom. And I'm like trying to like find it, and I just remember the shame of like contacting the PR person and being like, I am so sorry. I took up like almost an hour of his time, and I was just embarrassed and sad and like so many emotions at once just punching me. And yeah, I haven't thought about that in years. Like this is like I
Uh,
trauma blocked it.
I was
So
about to
thank
say,
you
I'm
guys.
sorry that I brought the trauma up. I really am. It's just,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
but
okay
just
though,
say
Sean,
we've been
because
through that too, man.
Andrew has his own story of doing an interview that went similarly, but we had video but
Mhm.
no audio.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. With the honky tonk man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's
And it
classic.
was the honky tonk man just ripping into everybody. He was like
Ah!
angry that day, and there was no audio. But then one that was even worse for us, I remember, is that we got Michael Rooker booked for an interview, but we
Hmm.
weren't able to hammer down the time. And unfortunately, we couldn't get, because this is back when we used to use the studio. Fortunately we couldn't get the studio for the time that was allotted, and so the so he ended up calling the studio and leaving messages like, "Hello, yeah, I'm waiting for the interview. You guys gonna call me?" And thankfully we did. That one has a happy postscript. We ended up running into him 3 weeks later at Fan Expo and got to talk to him. But yeah, it's like, yeah,
Hmm.
there's a lot of unhappy moments like that. But there's thankfully the good outweighs the bad. And I think
Yeah.
with you and me, there's one thing that we have a little bit of a rivalry going on. We're each trying to get every cast member from X-Men 97.
Yeah, we're racing. I think you're definitely beating me. Yeah.
You'll catch up. You'll catch up,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Except one. I don't know if we want to put him on blast
No,
or
we won't put him on blast. There
yeah,
was
me
one
neither.
guy. There was one guy that was very cranky to us at a show, and we both decided that day we had a pact that, well, we'll still both try to get all of X-Men 97. Neither of us will get that person.
Yeah, he doesn't count in the checklist anymore. It's like, okay. That's actually funny. Oh my God. Yeah. We're like,
Well,
I can't.
on
Yeah.
that note, Sean, like obviously I know like we're not going to drop certain people's names, but
Mhm.
uh I got to assume that you've had a few of the I'm probably never ever going to talk to that person ever, even if I'm offered or like whatever. Like have you had some of those experiences where you just were like, that
Most
was
definitely. And I feel like it would bother me when I first started out doing it. And now I notice I can see kind of the bigger picture of
right.
things. Just to kind of go full circle what we were talking about. Sometimes I realize these people are doing like a media day for like 8 hours, and I might be like one of the last people, and they're just tired. I don't even think it's like a personal thing where before I was like, oh, I can't believe they didn't give me their time or whatever. And now it's just like that's out the window, and I kind of get a bit more about like just what goes on beyond this behind the scenes as well. And I kind of I don't know. I'm not as upset about moments like that. And I also realized where before I used to like think I just needed to release everything. You don't have to release anything, everything, or you can just like edit. Or I have the power to edit. I know you guys are live and everything. I'm a coward, so I don't do my show live.
We do a
And
lot of episodes, a lot of interviews pre-recorded now just because of our schedule. But yeah, we definitely wanted you on live, bud.
oh yeah, it's kind of exciting. Like it gave me like a little wave of nerves. I'm like, oh my God, it's just not pre-recorded. And even as I was like listening to how you flow throughout the whole show, it's such an art form I appreciate, and the segues and the segments. You guys are killing it. I love it so much.
Well, thank you, man, because
Oh,
we
appreciate
love
it.
what you're doing as well, and I know that you've like again other people do as well. You've won awards for your podcast. So the one thing I got to ask though, what's coming up? What guests you got lined up, man?
Amazing. Thank you for asking this. 2 days ago, I recorded around a documentary titled "What's the Story, Wishbone?" I talked to the voice of Wishbone, the director, and the producer. And even if you don't listen to my interview, people, you need to watch this documentary. So much went into that show that's absolutely insane. This show shouldn't exist, basically. But so I have that coming up. Also, next week, I'm having a talk with the director of The Furious, Kenji Tanigaki. That film right now has been doing festivals, and right now it's 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. And I saw it myself, and it's one of the best action movies I ever seen. And also, speaking of The Furious, I'm talking to one of the stars as well, Joe Taslim, and he has also played Noob Saibot in Mortal Kombat 2. And it looks like we may have froze. Oh,
No,
No,
actually,
no, we're
okay,
still here,
never
man.
mind.
we're just
You
We
guys
just
just
just weren't
listening.
we're
blinking.
listening attentively.
Oh,
Let's
that's you guys were like statues. That was amazing. But you're doing the Nardwar actually. But yeah, yeah, and yeah. So Joe, he also plays Noob Saibot in Mortal Kombat 2. I'm a big Mortal Kombat nerd, and yeah, lots of fun stuff, and even locked in some other stuff as well.
That's awesome, man.
awesome.
Well, look forward to all of that. Of course, people can find the Creative Balance on all podcasting platforms and at is it youtube.com/creative imbalance?
Yes, yes, and I really want to push people towards the YouTube. I'm going to start posting some best of clips. I notice I got an influx of new viewers, so even if you don't have time for a full-length podcast, I'm going to have some little moments of some cool stuff around our history.
Sounds great, man.
Excellent.
Well, thank you so much, Sean, for coming on the program. I'm pretty sure you and I will cross paths again very soon.
Yeah.
And keep doing what you're doing, man.
Yes, thank you so much, guys. Send my love to the old man, Patula, the whole Geek Hard universe. Appreciate you guys.
Will do. Will do.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah,
Thank you
peace.
very much.